I'm going to give KataGo a personality. Actually, I've given it, I don't know, 7 personalities. So you can do this too if you know a little programming and you have access to KataGo's analysis information. You can force KataGo to play with style. And it's useful. It's not only is it fun, but it's useful because you can force it to act like a certain character, act like somebody who likes to bully or who likes to get thick stones or whatever. So you can deal with those certain topics as KataGo plays. So you can train yourself to deal with something that you're not familiar with or you don't see enough of or whatever, right? And that's it. So I'm going to show you the code, not talk about it, but I'm just going to scroll through it. It's very small. It's only 200 something lines because the calculations are pretty simple. They're straightforward. But I'll just tell you generally what you can do to do something like this. Basically, you weaken KataGo. Instead of picking the best move, you pick from its top moves, and then run some tests on it to see if it meets your style criteria. And that's it. And however you choose to do the style is up to you, obviously. And that's it. You pick a move that's weaker but meets your style. And you select because you're selecting from KataGo's top moves, you're guaranteed to have a rational idea. But I would recommend you do a safety check on it to make sure that the style move doesn't lose a ton of points, because when it does, it looks like a bug, and it's kind of annoying to play when it just prefers a style move over safety. So that's what this knob is. It goes from all style to full strength with no style. That's what this knob is. So I'm going to show you how these things work. Let's do that. So the best spot shows you the best move. Okay, we're done. The next one is the bully bot, which tries to find, let's refresh this. There we go. It tries to find forcing moves, and the way it finds it is it looks through the top moves that KataGo has chosen and finds the one that tries those moves on a virtual board, and determines which move forces the opponent in a situation where he has less choices. I didn't say that properly, but basically, if it creates a criticality in the next position where the opponent doesn't have many choices, then it's a bully move. That's how it works. I hope that made sense. So, that's the kind of stuff he's going to do, right? He's going to just touch and do Ataris and double Hanes and, all that kind of stuff. So if you want to practice playing against a bully, they're not good moves. They're okay moves, but they're inferior. But they're nothing to be scared of, because you can just be calm and respond to them properly and be happy about it. And that's something that this kind of bot can teach you. The peace bot is the exact opposite, in the sense that it picks the move that is least likely to cause criticality. So it keeps the game open. And you'll notice that if you do play this bot, the position will be open and free. The bot will try to trace out territories, big moyos and stuff. It's not gonna get into big fights and all that, and that's a completely different skill set to deal with something like that, because the peace bot will prefer a situation where everything's more abstract, and it's easier to deal, I think, with a bully than it is with like this open-ended kind of stuff, because there's too many things to consider. And so it's a completely different skill set. The invade me bot does what you think it does. It tries to invade whenever it can, And the way it does this is looks to see if a good move is inside enemy territory, and that's it, and scores it high if it is. You're not seeing many invasions going on here. Let me turn this down a little bit so you can see one. Yeah, here's one. You know, it's going undercutting white. So it will try its darndest to get an invasion going. See, here we go. So if you need to practice your responding to invasions, that's a good one. Get thick is pretty cool because it chooses to strengthen the stones that are in its own territory. So instead of going here, which is a little dicey, do this, and these stones are thicker. So the bot will eventually build huge walls and whatnot. And if you have a trouble dealing with that kind of situation, that's the bot you need. Greedy picks moves that are in unclaimed territory. So in general, that means that it's greedy. It wants to be the first one to get into this unclaimed territory. And usually that means it's greedy. And we all know how useful it is to deal with greediness. Learn how to deal with greediness. Be weird. Doesn't pick the best move, but picks one that's kind of the best move and in a weird position, right? So you get these strange situations and unique positions that you have to think about, and some responses that may not make sense, and it keeps you on your toes. I kind of like that one because it's more creative. And then fight me is just fights, you know. It looks for the moves that lead to the longest continuations, the longest and the most local continuations. So it's going to do cuts, it's going to do touching moves, all this kind of stuff that makes it want to fight. And this one's it'd probably be the most popular if it was on OGS, because all it does is fight you all day. Anyway, that's just some pretty short code to do all these things. And I hope it whets your appetite if you're kind of interested in this kind of thing, because I think KataGo could use a little personality. Yep. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching my video. Have a good one.